Okay, so I'm really excited to share this next lesson with you. What we're going to talk about is harmonizing a scale, which might sound completely boring. And, you know, I think for some people, if you really just want to play a fiddle tune, this might not be that interesting. But if you're interested at all in expanding your concept of the guitar, or seeing how the whole guitar kind of fits together, how you can get all of these different notes, where they're all coming from, and just how they all link together, this is very much the first step, because it's laying a foundation for being able to understand the entire guitar neck in terms of triads. And the reason we want to think of it in terms of triads is that triads, we kind of get three notes for one. Every time we think of a triad, then we kind of have the position of three different notes instead of just having one. So instead of thinking like that and just being limited, we wind up with this really cool, pretty logical, pretty simple, very knowable way to start building both horizontally and vertically across the guitar and stitching it all together. So this to me is really cool. So we're going to start doing this by, we're going to have you just run up and down a C major scale on one string. So let's go up the 5th string. And remember, we got the whole, half, whole, half thing. We will always come back to that formula to play a major scale. You start from a note, and if you do whole, half, then you just played the major scale of that note that you just started on, whatever note it may be. So this is a C, so we're going to do whole, half, and that's going to lead us like this. Whole, half, whole, half. Great. Let's go back down just to practice it. Okay, make sure you can do that. Make sure you've got that. And one other thing, let's count up our scale degrees. Now that we just did it that way, let's count our scale degrees. And this is important. Really do this. Say it out loud with me. So the scale degrees are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And back down. Say it out loud. That really helps. 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay? Got that with the scale degrees? Another thing I'm just going to remind you of, because I'm going to give you one extra layer of complexity. So I want to make sure that you've kind of really got your major scale down and that it's solid right here. Another thing that might help you with this is just remember, it's always a half step for a major scale between 3 and 4 and 7 and 1. Half step between 3 and 4 and 7 and 1. That means it's a whole step between all others. So that's another thing that you can just kind of hold in your mind right now. So that's a major scale. So we go 1, 2, 3. Ah, yes, there's a 3. It must be a half step to 4. Now we're going 4, 5, 6, 7. Those are all going to be whole steps, but half step again between 7 and 1. So keep that. That's another reference point. That's another thing that you might want to call upon as we do this. So make sure you can do that consistently without mistake. That's going to be the foundation. It's a major scale though, so it's very doable, very knowable. Once you got that down, now we're going to take advantage of that minor-major shortcut that we just learned in the previous lesson. So 1, 4, and 5 are going to be major, and 2, 3, and 6 are going to be minor. And 7 is going to get lumped in with the minors as well, per our minor-major shortcut that we talked about. So remember, we're also going to stack on this idea of the shapes that are available to us on the guitar, right? we've talked about how this is a major third shape, this is a minor third shape. And guitar is really cool. This is always going to be a major third right here. This is always going to be a minor third. This shape is going to be super reliable. That's a major third, that's a minor third. The only place where that shape's not going to be true is on our G and B strings, because right here we've got the kink, because this interval between these strings is different than the interval in the rest of the strings. So, using that, we can go up the scale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, in harmony by playing the appropriate major or minor shape. It's actually pretty simple, right? So 1 is major, so here's 1, there's major, cool. 2 is minor, great. We know that 3 is minor, so let's just go to 3. 3 is minor, okay, there's our minor shape again. 4 is major, and in case you are starting to get lost, you're like, well, okay, this is a lot to think about, major, minor, I'm kind of... Remember, we've got something we can reference here to help us get from 3 to 4. It's a half step between 3 and 4, right? So if this was our minor on 3, well, this is our root, so we're just going to go up a half step, because that's 3 to 4, and then we're back, 4 is major, right? 1, 4, and 5 are major. Cool. There is 4. And where's 5? Well, 5 is going to be a whole step above 4, and it's major, so that's a major shape right there. 6. This is going to be a whole step above 5. And we know 6 is minor because 2, 3, and 6 are minor. So here's that. And then 7 is up a whole step above 6. And I told you that we're going to do 7 as minor. So that's minor too. And then it's a half step from 7 to 1. So here's 7, there's 1, and 1, of course, is major. So if we look at all of that, we just did it in a line.